There are scandals. There are secrets. And then there are the kinds of truths so explosive they don't just break headlines, they break families. This was one of those days. A day when a courtroom became a battlefield, and a hidden past rose from the shadows like a scream that had been waiting far too long. Cameras couldn't capture every detail, but the whispers were louder than any recording. Tiny Harris walked into that room believing she was fighting to protect her family. She walked out shattered, collapsing under the weight of a truth she never wanted the world to hear. A truth delivered by the very woman she once called her best friend. And all of it centered around one name, King Harris. King wasn't new to controversy. Most people knew him as the rebellious son of T.I. and Tiny, the kid who always seemed on edge, always ready to prove something even he didn't fully understand. The internet made jokes, called him wild, said he was acting up for clout and views. But no one ever asked why his heart always seemed to be boiling under the spotlight. No one questioned the anger behind his eyes. Because when the world sees a celebrity's child, they forget they're also a human being, stumbling through the chaos of identity like everyone else. For years, the Harris family appeared close-knit and unbreakable on TV, a Southern royal family of reality entertainment. They laughed together, argued on camera, then hugged it out before the credits rolled. But behind the scenes, the perfect picture had cracks. And one of those cracks had a name. Shekinah Jo Anderson. Loud, funny, emotional, and fiercely loyal at times, or at least that's how people saw her. She was Tiny's confidant, best friend, partner in chaos, hairstylist turned celebrity personality. She was always around, always involved, always emotional about Tiny's life. So emotional that people on social media would ask, why does she care this much about Tiny's family? Her tears always felt heavier than the moment required. Her anger always seemed personal, as if she wasn't just a friend watching from the outside, as if part of her heart lived inside that house. Fans joked about how King looked more like Shekinah than Tiny. Same facial expressions. Same attitude, same fire. But social media jokes get buried under the pile of daily gossip, and nobody actually took them seriously. Everyone assumed the bond was just a strong family-like friendship. No one imagined those jokes could be the first clues to a hidden truth, but Shekinah knew better. She carried the truth like a locked chest in her soul. Every time she saw King acting out, she saw a piece of herself screaming. Every time King pushed his parents away, she felt something break inside her. She tried staying silent. She tried being the fun auntie to a boy she believed was her flesh and blood. But silence has an expiration date, especially when a heart is breaking. So one day, without warning, Shekinah filed a petition in court. It was bold, messy, and unbelievable. She was demanding a DNA test. She claimed she was King Harris's biological mother, and she'd been forced into silence years ago. She alleged that when King was born, she was pressured by industry power and influence to sign a non-disclosure agreement, to walk away from her own child so that he could have a better life in a more stable and glamorous home. A decision she said she regretted every single day. When those documents hit the court system, they didn't just become legal papers. They became gasoline tossed into a fire pit of rumors. The media pounced. Fans screamed. The Harris name was suddenly trending for all the wrong reasons. T.I. was furious. He called the claims absurd, claiming Shekinah was chasing clout, trying to insert herself into a life and business that never belonged to her. According to him, she had lost touch with reality. But when he tried to get the petition thrown out, the judge refused. There was enough suspicion to demand answers. The court wanted one thing, a DNA test, cold and undeniable. The day of the test was electric. King's confusion and anger were palpable. Tiny radiated anxious determination, silently pleading that this nightmare end. Shekinah's gaze burned with the patience of a mother who had waited too long for the truth to surface. Even the judge seemed to sense the tension. He wasn't just witnessing procedure. He was witnessing a life-altering revelation. Samples were taken. Days crawled by. Silence suffocated the family. Tiny posted smiling photos online, but anyone paying attention could see her heart trembling. Shekinah's once loud confidence turned into a quiet storm, coiling with anticipation. Then came the results. The courtroom froze. Everyone waited, breath held. When the judge opened the envelope, even the air seemed afraid. One look at his face and the room knew. This wasn't going to end the way the Harris family expected. The statement was read aloud. The test showed a positive maternity match between Shekinah Jo Anderson and King Harris. For a heartbeat, no one breathed. King blinked in confusion. T.I.'s jaw locked so tightly it looked like his teeth might shatter. Shekinah gasped, tears immediately streaming like she had been holding them back for decades. And Tiny fell apart. Her knees buckled and she collapsed to the ground with a choked scream that cut through everyone's soul. It wasn't dramatic for attention. It was heartbreak in its rawest form. The cry of a mother terrified of losing the child she raised, loved, protected, and sacrificed her entire life for. Security moved toward her. King knelt too, torn between comforting the woman who raised him and processing the bomb that had just exploded in front of him. She kept crying, "That's my baby! That's my baby!" over and over again. Her voice cracked until it wasn't even words anymore, just the pain of a world shattering. T.I. tried to control the moment, arguing, blaming faulty testing, but the judge shut him down. These were official results from a certified lab. Shekinah, tears streaming yet smiling through the shock, reached for King as if inviting him home for the first time. But he froze. His eyes were wide, scanning the room as if it might give him a different answer. He stepped back, shaking his head. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" he whispered, but the quiet courtroom made it echo like thunder. Tiny reached for him, but he recoiled, desperate to process a truth hitting him like a knockout punch. Shekinah tried to approach, but T.I.'s furious glare stopped her cold. Anger radiated from him, not just at her, but at the system, the situation, the betrayal now staining his family name. The judge called for order, security moved in, and yet nobody was listening. The shock was deafening. Outside, cameras swarmed. Paparazzi shouted questions. Fans cried, argued, chose sides instantly. Shekinah deserves her child. This is fake. Tiny is the real mom. King was lied to his whole life. Every comment felt like a dagger, every opinion fueling the fire. Inside the Harris home, tension was suffocating. Tiny locked herself away, refusing calls, ignoring food. Her love for King wasn't blood. It was built from sleepless nights, doctor visits, first steps, school mornings, birthday parties, heartbreaks, and lullabies. And now a single DNA result threatened to erase it. King was a storm, slamming doors, pacing, yelling. Who am I? Who lies to a kid about where he comes from? Every tear only multiplied. Identity felt fragile, shattered by doubt. T.I. scrambled to contain the chaos, ordering another DNA test. Preparing statements, calling experts, refusing to let a single result unravel a dynasty. Shekinah, however, glimpsed hope. Destiny seemed to be correcting a cruel mistake. But rewriting the narrative of her life and motherhood meant more battles, more tears, and a world ready to brand her the villain. Blood, love, and loyalty were about to collide, and no one would walk away unscathed. Shekinah wanted her son back, desperately. Her love for King burned hotter than ever, a wildfire that refused to die despite years of being forced to hide it. Every day without him felt like a betrayal of her own heart. King, caught between two women who both loved him fiercely, became the unwilling center of a storm the world treated like entertainment, forgetting that he was a young man whose heart had been ripped apart by secrets he never asked for. His heart had been ripped apart by secrets he never asked for. The Harris empire was shaking. Every interview, every headline, every whisper cut deeper than the last. Social media exploded. Supporters rallied for Shekinah. If the results say she's the mom, why question it? She looks exactly like him. Others fiercely defended Tiny. She raised him! That's his mom. Shekinah's just jealous. And somewhere in between, people wondered if both women were victims of a deception too big to hide. T.I. released a statement promising more testing, insisting that paper alone didn't define truth. Rumors swirled about manipulation, powerful people, and destiny finally revealing long-hidden secrets. Meanwhile, King returned to social media, posting cryptic lines about trust, loyalty, and heartbreak. Fans could feel his pain, the boy who once screamed for attention, now carefully piecing together his identity. Tiny posted a rare emotional message. A mother's love is proven through life, not DNA. Support poured in, but so did hate. A reminder of that courtroom floor where reality had struck like lightning. Shekinah went live, crying openly, claiming she didn't want to take King from Tiny, only to reveal the truth. Some believed her, some called her a snake. Either way, her voice finally mattered. Insiders whispered that if the second DNA test confirmed the results, Shekinah might push for legal rights, or maybe just acknowledgement. But when a family is built on secrets, war is inevitable. Hearings loomed, lawyers prepared walls of papers, and King finally began to grasp his anger wasn't rebellion, it was a search for the truth. The question now, who will he choose? The mother who gave him life, or the one who raised him into the person he is today? Blood versus loyalty, biology versus love. The courtroom bombshell has already shattered hearts and trust. Cameras will roll, rumors will swirl, and the storm has only begun. One thing is certain, nothing will ever be the same.